Okay, so as we start, you've got that paper that's been passed out to you. We are going to take notes on this. This is going to work a little bit differently today, but we're going to review the types of cells. So as we go through, we're going to actually start on the back of your paper where it's blank, and we're going to jot down a few things. So go ahead and turn to the back side. Do make sure that your name is on it. Okay. So we're going to flip to the back so we can jot down some things. Okay, now when we talk about the two types of cells, I've asked you to be on page 224. Okay, what are the two main types of cells that you are looking at there, Chris?
The prokaryotic and eukaryotic.
Okay, the prokaryotic, say it after me, class, prokaryotic.
Prokaryotic.
Okay, and eukaryotic? Okay, good. Now, we talked yesterday about the difference between the two. Does anybody remember one of the major differences that I wanted to make sure that you wrote down? Mason?
Prokaryotic is a cell wall.
Okay. In that picture, it does have a cell wall. Okay. What else did I have you write down? Tyler Little?
Prokaryotic cells are mainly found in one-celled organisms.
Okay, they're one-celled organisms, and I told you that they are more, what, Jordan? Simplistic. Good. So as we jot these two down, okay, I want you to go ahead and you're going to write both of those down. Okay. I'm waiting for my tablet to catch up. You guys see it on there. Okay, so make sure you label it types of cells. There it goes. It's waking up there. All right, and so there are two main types of cells. All right, and I want you to make sure that you do define those. So make sure you write down the definition, and I just would write a little note to yourself. Okay, those are simple and they're single cell. Okay, so we've got our two main types of cells. Now, cells are all over the place, right? You are made of cells. You've got many different types of cells that are working in your body. When we look at these two types of cells, which type of cell is in your body for the most part? Riley? Eukaryotic. Good. Okay, now prokaryotic is commonly found in your bacterias. Okay, single-celled organisms. So your body is mostly made up of those eukaryotic cells. Now, no matter what the cell, okay, all cells have three main jobs, three main processes that they're going to go ahead and that they're going to carry out. Okay? And so as they're carrying those out, we're going to write those down. So go ahead and jot down cell jobs on your paper. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to write down cell jobs. And I'm going to go ahead and list them up here. Okay, and we can just make a list of the three. So you can go ahead and write number 1.
Do we write down both types of cells?
Okay, you should have, yes. Okay, all right. So your first job that the cell does is it's going to take in nutrients. Number 1. You need nutrients every day to make sure that your body is fulfilling those processes. That's what the cell is helping you do. Number 2, up there, is to store, produce, and break down substances. So as those things are coming through your body, the cells are working on breaking them down and getting the nutrients where they need to be, getting the waste where it needs to be. Okay, and so I bet by looking at it, you can figure out what number 3 is going to be. And number 3 is to take in and use energy.
Miss Saini's class. So they don't
Okay? So 3 main jobs, no matter if it's a prokaryotic or eukaryotic cell, those are the 3 main things that a cell is working to do for us. Okay? Are there any questions about that? Okay. All right. As you're looking at page 224, we're going to move into focusing and moving our focus to eukaryotic cells. So as we move our focus to eukaryotic cells, I'd like for you to turn the page to page 226 in your book. We're still on the back. We're almost ready to switch over to the front side of that paper. All right. So page 226, you're looking at 2 types of eukaryotic cells. What are those 2 types of eukaryotic cells that you're looking at on page 226? Emily? Emily. Animal and plant cells. Wow. Had a moment there. Okay. All right. So as you're adding to the back, okay, go ahead and write down 2 types of eukaryotic cells. Okay. And they are animal cells and plant cells. Okay, it's kind of a no-brainer. Where are animal cells found? Okay, and animals, where are plant cells found? Plant cells are found in plants. Okay, so what's in us? What type of cell do we have in our body?
Eukaryotic.
Animal cell or plant cell? Animal cells. Okay, we're made up of. Okay, now who can tell me what the difference is between the 2? What is the major difference? Okay, and this is a basic review, so as we go back, what's that major difference, Tabor, between an animal cell and a plant cell? Good. What's the purpose of a cell wall? What is the purpose? So she said plant cells have a cell wall. What's the purpose of a plant cell, Chris?
The purpose of the plant cell or the wall?
Oh, I'm sorry, the cell wall.
To protect the insides of the cell.
Good. It's kind of a support system, and it holds it all in. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's flip over to the front side of your notes page. Okay. All right, and find on that, we're going to work on a celebration first. So since we already started talking about that cell wall, okay, what letter is cell wall on that side? What letter, Cameron? L, okay. And looking through your definitions, it's L. What number matches up with that definition? We talked about it supporting a plant cell. We talked about it only being in plant cells. So what number does that match up with, Sierra?
6.
6. Does everybody agree with Sierra? 6. Okay, so make sure you go ahead and you put that L next to 6. Okay, now occasionally as we go through these, I'm going to have you adding things out to the side of some of your definitions, so just stick with me, okay? All right, we got our first one done. Now let's talk about what's actually inside, or what jobs are inside the cell, and we're going to talk about your number 4 that you did for homework last night. All right, so contents of a cell. The first thing we're going to talk about is the cell membrane. Can somebody quickly tell me what letter that is?
G.
Okay, it's letter G. Thank you, Josh. Okay? All right, now when we look at the definition of a cell membrane, it controls movement of materials in and out of the cell. So it says, okay, you're good, we want you, so come in. It also says, we don't want you, we're done with you, go out. Okay? So nutrients go in, waste goes out. Looking at your number and your definitions there on the side. Okay, now make sure you're reading them carefully. Riley, what number do you think it is?
Well, I was going to say, last year, Mr. Davis told us that it was kind of like a security guard.
Mr. Davis is a smart man. Okay. All right, so I'm asking you what definitions, what does it match with? Rachel?
3.
3. All right, let's look at 3. It says controls movement of materials in and out of the nucleus. Okay, key word is nucleus in that. So is it number 3? No. Which number is it, Allie? 4? 4 controls the cell activities. All right, Timothy, what do you think?
5.
5 contains the cell materials.
No.
What is it, Mason? 10 controls movement of materials in and out of the cell. Good. Okay, so G is 10. And I just want you to do one key thing for me. I want you to underline that word cell or circle that word cell. Okay, that's the key difference between number 10 and number 3. Okay? And some of these parts in the cell do have very similar jobs. So just like Mr. Davis told Riley last year, okay, if we're thinking about Georgetown being, okay, representing a cell, if we had a gate all the way around Georgetown, okay, we'd have to have somebody working the gate, right? Okay, we'd have to have a gatekeeper. So I just want you to jot down that little note to yourself so we can remember. Okay, if you can squeeze it next to your definition, that would be the perfect place for it. Okay, so the cell membrane is like the gatekeeper, or if you'd rather write it next to the word, whatever makes you happy in that sense, okay? All right. We good with cell membrane? Yes? Okay. All right, next one we're going to talk about is the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm, somebody quickly tell me what letter that is. E? Okay, if that's the letter E, okay, the cytoplasm is what contains all the cell materials. So as you're looking at your pictures on 226, okay, and you're looking at that material, it's all, you see these big organelles, you see these big things, and the cytoplasm is everything in between all of those organelles. Okay, it's kind of like when we talk about what's within Georgetown, all the air in between our buildings, okay, that's what contains the cell materials. So looking at your definitions, we've said that cytoplasm is E, contains all the cell materials. What number do you think it is, Stephen? 5. Everybody agree with Stephen? Anybody disagree? Okay. All right, so we've got the cell membrane that's on the outside. We've got the cytoplasm that fills in all of that empty space within the cell. Okay, so next what we're going to talk about is ribosomes. What letter is ribosomes? D? All right. Ribosomes is D, and the key is that it makes your proteins. Okay, you think about yourself, okay, you need protein, right? Yeah, in some form or another, you need that protein. Okay, the key is ribosomes make their protein, okay, in the nucleolus. Okay, so let's match the definition first. Ribosomes make proteins in the nucleolus. So what number do we think that D matches up with? Riley? 7. Does everybody agree with Riley? Okay, and I want you to add one thing next to that definition. Okay, in the nucleolus. Now notice, I didn't say nucleus.
How do you spell that?
Okay, it's nucleolus, Nucleolus. Any guesses as to where the nucleolus is? Any guesses, or is it, I don't know, is it in your picture?
Yeah.
Okay, it is in your picture. So where's the nucleolus located, Cameron? It's inside the nucleus, okay? So that's where the ribosomes, the proteins, are being made for the cell, okay? All right, any questions on ribosomes, cytoplasm, or cell membrane? Can you give a thumbs up? Thumbs up? Down, we good? All right, let's move on to the next one. Next one in the cell membrane. I'm waiting for my iPad to catch up with me there. Is the nucleus. What letter is nucleus? All right, so go ahead and jot that letter down. Okay? It's going to control all the cell activities, and it's where DNA is found. Oh, we're going to go back here. There we go. All right. So tell me again what letter it was. B. Wait for my screen to catch up with me. All right. So in your homework for number 4 last night, you to think about what the job or the role of the nucleus would be in, say, a town. Okay, we already established in the bell ringer today that the main role of the nucleus is to do what?
Control cell activity.
Control cell activity. So thinking back to the nucleus here, what would maybe be the job of the nucleus in the town? Or what would represent the nucleus? Michael? The mayor. Okay, if not the mayor, what else could we put? Okay, if you're thinking school-wise, it might be the principal. Okay, or the superintendent. Okay. All right, so it's the person, it's going to be the boss of the cell. Okay, all right, what number does nucleus match up with, Allie? 4. Does everybody agree with Allie? Okay. And you might just want to add those little notes. It's the mayor or the boss of the cell. And I want you to add on there, okay, that it is where DNA is found. I know that's not on there. Okay, or if you put in parentheses DNA, okay, make sure you're recognizing that it's where DNA is found. Okay, these are your notes. They will help you. Okay. All right. Now, just like the cell has a cell membrane, the nucleus has a nuclear membrane. Okay, and that's not in your pictures, is it? Okay. But it kind of has a similar role. All right, what letter is the nuclear membrane? C? All right, so it's C. It's going to control the movement of materials in and out of the nucleus. So it's more focused. Okay, it's protecting that mayor or that boss or that principal. So it's kind of like a personal bodyguard, which you might want to make that note. It's like a personal bodyguard. All right, and I see some hands. So what number does that match up with, Rachel? 3. So it came back to get you there. Okay? All right, so it's controlling the movement of materials in and out of the nucleus. Okay? All right, we okay with nuclear membrane? All right, next one we're going to talk about is chloroplast. Now, chloroplast, what letter is chloroplast? K. Okay, a couple of things. Let's look at that definition. Okay, it contains a green substance called chlorophyll that captures light to make food. Okay, can somebody match that with its definition right off the bat there? Eli, what number is it? 1. Does everybody agree with Eli? Okay, now a couple of things I'd like you to try to add in there. Okay, number 1, you'll notice that it's in what? It is in plant cells only. So you want to write that down or jot that down. Okay, and you should be able to see that in your pictures on page 226. Okay, you see those green little things. Okay, now what makes them green?
The chlorophyll.
The chlorophyll. And we use chlorophyll to capture light and make food. And what process is that called? Photosynthesis. Very good. Okay, so make sure you add that. So this is where the photosynthesis happens in your plants, is in the chloroplast. Okay? All right. Questions about chloroplast? Okay. So plant cells, we found 2 differences between plant cells and animal cells, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Plant cells have what? Kaylee? Chloroplast and what else?
Cell wall.
Cell wall. Good. All right. Next part of this cell we're going to talk about and review. Okay, is the mitochondria, which you explored on your homework last night. What letter is mitochondria?
H.
H. All right, so we'll write that H down there. Okay, now it releases energy in food to the cell. So it represents that food and it's passing out that food. Okay, so as you thought about this last night in your homework, you had to make a connection with mitochondria. What did you compare mitochondria to in your homework? Tyler Little?
The grocery store.
The grocery store. Anybody compare it to something different? Passing out food?
What was homework question?
Cafeteria?
Cafeteria? Good. The mitochondria is like your cafeteria ladies at school. Now, they do try to make sure that you have the right types of foods on your tray, okay, whether you like them or not. But their ultimate goal is to make sure that you are getting fed. Now, whether you like the food or not, that's another debate, okay?
Did you know that the average prison meal is healthier than a school meal?
Really, I believe it. Okay, all right, so looking at your definitions. All right, let's match it with definition, then I'll let you ask your question. All right, so what does H match up with, Stephen? 8. Does everybody agree?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Mason, what's your question?
What was in the nucleolus again?
The nucleolus ribosomes. All right, so make sure you've got that reference to cafeteria ladies on there. Okay, or if you put the Kroger, whatever's going to help you remember, that's what passes out food. Okay? All right, our next part of this cell that we're going to talk about is the endoplasmic reticulum. Let's say it with me. Endoplasmic reticulum. Yes, it says ER. I'm okay with you to reference it ER, but it's always good to try to pronounce it. And I just heard somebody say that was letter A, correct? Okay, so that's letter A. All right. Now, a couple of things with that. It's got folded membranes. Okay, and it helps transfer, it helps move things around the cell. Okay, so it's helping things get to one place to another. So with that being said, looking at your definitions, what number does that match up with, Eli? 2. Everybody agree with Eli? Yep. Okay, all right. Now next to your definition, I have a couple things that I want you to add. Okay, there are 2 types of ER.
Emergency room.
Okay, there are 2 types of endoplasmic reticulum, and look at your pictures on 226. Look at your pictures. In particular, look at the...
Smooth and rough.
Oh, there we go. Chris has got it. He noticed that there's smooth and there's rough. So go ahead and just make that note. There's smooth and rough. Okay, can you tell a difference in the picture? Of which is which? Okay, you'll notice that the rough ER, okay, has these little purple things on it. Okay, it has these little purple things on it. Does anybody see where a purple thing is labeled? One of those purple dots. What are those little purple dots on the ER, Kaylee?
Ribosomes.
Ribosomes. Good. Okay, so the ribosomes make ER rough there, okay? When the ribosomes attach, and you might just want to jot that down too. Okay. All right, questions about ER? So that's like your transportation system. Okay, that's your transportation system. It helps transport things from one part of the cell to another part of the cell, whether it's the school bus, whether it's your car, okay, or the roadways. All right, next part of the cell we will talk about is, okay, Golgi bodies. What letter? I? Okay. Ooh. All right, so they are stacked and flattened membranes, and their main focus is the chemicals. Okay, they make sure that the chemicals, everybody has the chemicals that can be used for cell use. Now, different than energy. Okay, what definition you got there, Rachel?
9.
9. Everybody agree with Rachel? Okay. All right. We make the connection with this as being the gas station of the town. Make sure that you got the right chemicals that you need to keep moving. Okay. All right. Next part that we're going to talk about is the vacuoles. Okay, vacuoles represent many different things in our town. Okay, what letter is it, Riley? J? Okay. As it's J, okay, it's going to store water, it stores waste products, stores food, any kind of waste or any kind of extra materials, it's going to do the storing. Now, you'll notice in your pictures on page 226, okay, the plant cells have a very large vacuole. Okay, the animal cell, it's not as noticeable, and they don't even have it in there, I don't think. Okay, so you'll notice plant cells are storing a lot more. What definition or what number does J match up with, Cameron? 12. Everybody agree with Cameron?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Any thoughts in a town? What a vacuole might represent? Okay. Mason?
Self-storage thing.
A self-storage center. It could also, when we talk about storing water, what might store our water? A water tower. Okay. What stores waste? A dump, a landfill. So vacuoles can be represented by many things. Okay. All right. We got one more. All right. Last one we're going to talk about is chromosomes, which is what letter? F. Okay. Now, chromosome holds the code. Okay. Chromosomes hold the code. It tells the cell what to do. That's kind of like your law book. You know, when we talk about the mayor, he has certain laws that he has to follow. The principal has certain guidelines that she has to follow. Okay, so it's like your law book in that sense. Okay, so it's the code. Now, Allie, what number is that? 11. Okay, a couple things I want you to jot down about chromosomes. Okay, chromosomes are on DNA. And where is DNA? In the nucleus. Good. All right. Our next job is going to be working on filling in our cell diagrams. I know it's getting close to the bell ringing. Okay, so let's just take a look at your cell diagram. Can you tell me which one's which? Which one's an animal cell and which one's a plant cell on your diagrams? Okay. All right, Stephen decided that the top one was an animal cell. Do you agree or disagree? Agree. So go ahead and label those. Okay, so there's your animal cell. Okay. Oh, I should have labeled it down here. Like yours. Okay. All right, let's take a look up here. All right, can you notice anything? Do you notice anything that you can label right off the bat? Okay. The ER is located for you. Okay, is there anything that sticks out to you right out off the bat? Okay, the nucleus might stick out to you. Which one do you think is the nucleus? This one's hard. 3 is the nucleus. Okay, 3 is the nucleus. Now 4 is kind of pointing to the parts within the nucleus, so what would that be? It's not the nucleolus. What's within the nucleus? What did we just talk about? Kaylee? Chromosomes. All right, and we'll pick up here tomorrow. Put that in your notes section.